Okay, it's Tuesday, January 3rd. This is an end of the day SPY report and our first trading day of the year. We end up with a red bar today, and it ended up being a 2-up failure that worked itself into a 3, an outside bar to the downside. We started above the high of the previous day, came down to the halfway point of that day, which was this yellow line, and then worked our way to our target, which was the low of the prior day, or to create the outside bar. And then we could see here we rallied a little bit towards the close. So in terms of where the market goes from here, we have a slight hint as what may be developing. We're still in this overall range that I've pointed out here. It's a sideways range. There's been a lot of choppiness. We failed at the top a few times. This is another potential start, but you could see with the buying in here and an overall broadening bar, which is a higher high and a lower low, you never know if you're going to get that follow through. Even though you're with the red bar, I guess you can anticipate that, but we're still right in the middle of a range, and we broadened out and then kind of pulled back a little bit. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. But now we have some reference points to monitor. First of all, we have the halfway point of this bar. So we'll see tomorrow with the pre-market ranges, if it's in, maybe the upper half of that range, maybe the lower half of that range, and which way it breaks out. And then we have this purple line, which is the open. And I mentioned how that's a very important price now for really every time frame involved. The daily time frame tomorrow, well, we can start out green below that bar, but the weekly time frame now turns up if we get above that, and the monthly and the yearly. So if we can get some kind of rally out of here tomorrow above that purple line, anything that opens up and goes above some pre-market highs and can take out that purple line, we'll start getting bias to the upside. In the meantime, we're going to see if we get follow through lower tomorrow and kind of target some of these lows. On the weekly chart, you can almost say we've failed on the weekly chart as well with that inside bar. So again, you're looking for it to come down to take out these stops down here until we get anything above the midpoint of this bar and above that purple line. I'm going to anticipate that. Doesn't mean I'm predicting it, but that's what we're going to keep looking for until we get something to reverse our thinking and in order to look for the upside. So for today, it was a pretty clear day in terms of I created a video right near the open here that showed the very first bar was just a neutral bar, not a green bar, that followed through to the upside above the pre-market highs. If anything, we followed through to the downside on bar number 2. That was your sell signal. We reached our that key midway point, the yellow line. At that point, that kind of indicated we were going to go to the lows of the prior day. So there was an opportunity here. I bought some puts. There was a secondary trade at this little blue line on this broadening to the upside with a 5-minute reversal, and that took us down for leg number 2. So it was a typical direction day. One push down, pause, second push down, and then we kind of just, in some cases, you just go sideways the rest of the day. Other cases like this, you kind of rally a little bit. But this was the key move all day long. The trading opportunities were here. There was really nothing to do in the afternoon. So we'll see what happens, on the second day of the year. We start out with a little bias to the downside, but since it just broadened within an overall trading range, there's no real commitment to what happens next. We're just going to have to watch, like we always do, opening price action to lead the way. Eventually, this whole trading range is going to resolve one way or the other. Again, it still looks like the type of thing where we came down, we're pausing, and this pause, if we can't break out to the upside, should, it has another leg down. I still think on the monthly chart with the red bar, you'd think we want to test that low at some point. So the bias is still that way, and we have a weekly failure developing here to kind of take out those 2 lows. But we will see what happens, and again, the thing is, when the opening price action confirms that bias, that's where you get excited to be pretty aggressive on the downside. So again, always have to look at opening price action and intraday structure to really tell us what's going on. But when it meets our expectations of possibly, making a new leg lower, then that will be, something where you could really take advantage of it to the downside. But again, purple line now, the key as we go forward. So let's see how price action opens and develops tomorrow.